she ended up with a nice handful of friends that she still keeps in contact, and counselors, as I said, and friends from all over the world. It was just an internet search. We spend our summers in Montreal, and where my kids were going to school, they weren't learning French at the time. So I wanted a bit of a working summer. Okay, I wanted a combination of fun and the classroom setting. We tried before that with my daughter, we tried the Berlitz camp, but it was too much of a classroom setting. So I wanted a combination of the two. And it was just an internet search, and it was just the fact that it was centrally located in Montreal. I had attended McGill University, so I'm familiar with the area, and I liked that it was right in the middle of the city. And that when I looked at the activities that they would do, it's all the things we would have done anyways. If there wasn't a camp, we would have went to all those fun things like laser tag and voile en voile. So the camp was taking care of all that for me, and the language part of it. So I wanted that combination. The fact that we started as day students, because I had a place to stay in Montreal, but they started as day students, and that they wanted to return, and that they wanted to return as boarders. That alone was that they had a positive experience. So right away, I wanted to continue. And I mean, really a lot of positive things about that camp. Again, it's centrally located. They take public transportation to these activities. I wanted that urban feel. I didn't want them to go to, a camp by a lake, although those are great too. I wanted them to learn about the city. They know about the city more than I do now, for that reason. Another positive is that they literally still keep in touch with kids that they've met at that camp through their technology that they have, Instagram and all that. There's still a handful of kids and counselors that they've kept in contact with. There was never any incidents of anything of note. And when there was, such as with my daughter, there was something that happened during one of the outings where they were at the botanical gardens, and a woman was just overzealously, a strange woman was overzealously taking their picture. That I learned about it that same day by Vanessa, the head counselor. I'm kept informed of anything. She twisted her ankle at one point, was kept immediately informed of that, had a fever at one point, was able to then even take her home for a couple of days. So, they, on the basis of what happens, you're informed, decisions are made, there's flexibility, all that kind of thing. But there is still the undertone that if you choose to do boarding, that they are to start learning independence, and that was important to me, that they can take care of themselves more and more. This particular camp, I don't know if all the MWS camps are like that, but this particular one with the boarding, they're assigned their own room. So it's easy in that sense that, it's not like a roommate that they have to get along with. So I liked that idea, that if this is their first time doing it, that they have their own room, they have their own little privacy. But they, I don't know if I can specific, just that the comfort level to do it again was there. I think it's hard to say that there was one particular characteristic that shows that this was positive. I think the fact that they were just willing to go back and do it again kind of made me know that it was positive for them. They felt comfortable enough to go back and do the boarding again. It's sort of another layer of independence that I was trying to get from this boarding camp. And as a mother, it was very convenient for me, only in terms also of, if anything should happen, I'm kind of right there. I'm not there, but then I'm there. And nothing really, as I said, serious happened other than like one bout of fever. But if I wasn't living in the area, it would have been fine as well. It was just her. She just wanted to come home for that particular time. But so, I think it was just another exercise, in terms of independence, that eventually, because my whole thing was, I needed them to get more comfortable with that, because where we live now, they will most likely be going to a boarding school for high school. So this was a good test and a good exercise of independence. Not only making new friends, because the other part of it was the friends that it kind of forces a friendship too, in terms of the friend that you might gravitate towards, the person you might gravitate towards might not necessarily be the one that's in your level of French. So it's almost a forced socialization, even in the French class part of it. So instead of having that one person and then what tends to happen sometimes is they get so comfortable with the one person, they ignore everybody else. Here, groups are made and then they get mixed up again, so that's why I think, she ended up with a nice handful of friends that she still keeps in contact, and counselors, as I said, and friends from all over the world, which is another bonus of all this. She's grown accustomed to that, because we go to a kind of an international school here, and now that was just a continuation of that was also important to me, that she can get along with anybody from any part of the world, because she might end up living there one day. We unfortunately, where we live, language doesn't come in until the 6th grade, a second language. So this camp, I wanted, was important for the language, that I wanted to get them started on that. Now, what ends up happening, though, unfortunately, is they will learn the language over the summer, and then it sort of gets lost again. And I had asked the head counselor at the time, Vanessa, and I said, am I spinning my wheels here? Because they'll be intense with the language, and then during the school year, there's nothing. We don't live in Montreal during a school year, so they can't continue with it. And she said it, and I agree with it 100%, that maybe eventually they don't retain all of it, but there is still something there, and it tends to get awakened. So now my daughter's in 8th grade. My son's starting French in school in 6th grade. So now they're taking French. They have, and my daughter has taken it. They excel now, I think, than if they didn't take the camp. All of a sudden, these things that have been laid dormant there in the brain sort of gets activated. Not everything. I'm not, it's not everything they learned, but here they're starting, they start to learn how to do the counting. Well, my son can go through it really, really quickly now, because he did it at that camp, and the colors, and he runs through it quickly. Of course, there'll come a point when, they're at a level of the French that exceeds what he learned at this camp, but I think it gave them a great head start. And I just think it was absolutely valuable, that part of it. And just kept the brain, at the very least, it kept the brain working during the summer, just at the very least. But I think it was more than that, yeah. It's kind of like I said, I felt a little bit easy with it because I was less than an hour away, so should anything happen. But Vanessa was, adamant that you have to do the separation, you have to do it, or else it's not going to succeed. I was, I just, again, maybe because I eased into it and they were day campers first, and maybe that's why I did it that way. I didn't throw them in to boarding. I did day camp, and then I could see and get the vibe of the place, that when it did become, when they did choose to do boarding, I felt pretty confident that it was going to work out. Now, did it work? Did things come missing? Did Luca not clear out his room properly and he left this behind? And these are all superficial things. Oh, there's one sock left behind. There's he left his toothbrush behind, and all this kind of things that are really superficial, and it's doesn't mean anything in the long run. The long run is he came back alive, healthy, and these little things that he packed and got lost because he wasn't as organized as maybe I would have liked him to be. That's, I didn't get any complaints about him not changing his clothes. I didn't get any of that, so I'm assuming all that went well, that he would know this is how you do things. This is, make sure you take your shower, make sure you take, that that you do have to let go and have some faith that it's going to work out. And if these little things that maybe didn't work exactly if he was living at home, they don't really matter in the long run. They get to call home as a boarder. They get to call home, ask questions. It just, me, it was like a training beforehand, reading over the manual with them. This is, there's laundry, going to be laundry once a week. There's this, so you have to make sure your clothes are ready, make sure your towels are in, just a kind of a training beforehand. But I don't know. As I said, I started with the day camp and saw that it was a success, so that I went further with it. I know there's going to be parents who aren't going to want to leave, that sort of thing, but it's all for the better, I think. They and my kids were not always those kids. They were the last kid to get involved in a birthday party and that sort of thing. They're very hesitant. but they make it very easy. The camp itself makes it easy for them to socialize and join the group, so to speak. But just going over the manual, I think, with the kids and letting them be prepared in what is to come. This is what is to come, and these are the activities you're going to do. This is the kind of stuff. And you know, I had a great experience.